Hello. I'm feeling rather giddy at the moment, and kind of just wanted to share some things. What's happening with you? How are you? I'm just chilling at my kitchen table. I'd love to give you a tour of the kitchen table. I got a kind of tiny apartment right now. Be prepared, this kitchen table is disastrous? I don't know. It's a controlled chaos. So, oh my gosh, remember when I went to Maui? Here's some honey from when I went to Maui. I got to bottle some of this lavender-infused honey. And here's a blood orange, organic from the co-op. It's super yummy, and I'm saving the peels to make into a tea blend. And, this stuff was like $5. Like $5. How freaking blessed was that to find this organic raw cashew butter for $5, man? I've been reading a lot of really sacred texts, and in all honesty, I've been reflecting the last couple days, and maybe it's because we're sort of like near a Mercury retrograde. I've been reflecting on like the last decade and the last 4 years of my life. What a transformation. A decade ago, roughly, I started high school at North Catholic High School. And I was Catholic AF. And my favorite thing that I would do when I was Catholic is praying the rosary. And Mary, Mother of Jesus, and Mary Magdalene have become so important to me, way more than when I started Catholic school. But when I left Catholic school and went to public school in my junior year of high school, I had this crazy breakdown, like a crazy mental breakdown, because when I left Catholic school, I was like, I don't think this dogma that I was taught is like totally correct. But I like kind of had a mental breakdown because I like didn't really feel Catholic anymore, but needed some basis of spirituality, but my spiritual basis like totally dwindled away. And so over like a 2-year period, like my junior year and senior year of high school, I was like searching for God. I was literally typing into Google, what is God? I remember specifically that Google search at like junior year during like one of my TV classes. I was so blessed to have a TV class where I got to make cool videos. And hi Uncle Rick, I love you and I've been thinking about you. I'm just talking about my days in high school. Here's my kitchen. Look at that table. Lots of plenty there. So grateful. But yeah, I was in high school, right? And I was typing like, what is God? And I like found out about, I don't even remember the things I found out about. But what I did find out about, I ended up finding out about quantum mechanics. And like quantum mechanics, like there's literally in the realm of quantum, like in like the field of quantum study, they've literally proven that on a certain level of existence, so like I'm here but I'm made up of like atoms, there's like a level smaller than atoms, and at that level it's literally been proven that there's no space between anything at all. Come on, G baby, I've been missing you too. I've been thinking about you. We need to get together soon. I found out that there's this space in reality where literally no thing is separate from each other. And I was like, oh, like everything is connected. Like that just makes sense. And eventually, and like when you look at these like quantum studies, it says like things will change when you're looking at the quantum field. Things change based on like when they're being looked at versus when they're not being looked at. And so that kind of started to teach me that self-awareness is God. That was kind of like basically the conclusion that I came to. God is self-awareness. And so I was like entering my freshman year of college at that point by the time I came to that conclusion. And you know, that was just a fun story. But yeah, so like that was like 10 years ago that I started Catholic high school. I've been like in Catholic school my whole life. And here we are now where like I left Catholicism. I like had this mental breakdown, and I was like, what's God? And then I was like, God is self-awareness. And then I was like, oh my God, God lives in all of us. But truly, like Catholicism teaches that. Literally, like I in Catholic high school, we had religion class every day, and we had to learn the dogma. The dogma is what you have to believe in order to be part of this faith group. You must believe this. That is what dogma is. And part of the Catholic dogma is that you must believe that God lives in everything. It's called omnipresence. You have to believe that God is omnipresent. So just saying, like, God is omnipresent, and I've been diving really, really deep into some spiritual texts that have been so incredible and so, like, enlightening on my journey, and I will share them with you after I show you this. Hello. Love light. Okay, it's a light that says love. What's up, everybody watching? Thanks for joining me. I'm just feeling like expressing myself, and I'm doing it here. Thank you for joining. But yeah, so I was going to share about these sacred texts. So I'll take you through some of my book. I'll take you through my book collection, because at the end of 2019, I literally wrote a list of intentions, and I said on one of them, books. I want to read books. I want to get books in my hand, and I want to read them, because I graduated from college, and I was like, I'm afraid I'm going to stop learning. And I was like, no, honey, just set the intention, and you'll do it. Like, just believe in yourself and trust yourself. So I got books in my hands, and here's some of the books I got in my hands this year. This amazing book called Womb Wisdom. It totally changed my life. Shout out Angela Morelli for recommending me that. I got Celtic Magic. I found this in a box on the side of the road. My mom got me this amazing book of blessings called To Bless the Space Between Us. And remember, God is omnipresent, so like God is everywhere, and like we can bless it because we are God. But I've been reading these two books that are called The Christ Blueprint and The Sophia Code, and let me tell you, these books are so good. The Christ Blueprint was published in 2010. This is like just a decade ago. This book was published, and the author of this book literally, listen, the story of creation, God's creation story, is still continuing. Like, don't think, oh, the 7 days happened and then that was it, bam. Like, it's still happening. God is omnipresent, and God is still creating, and we are creators. We are creators of this reality that we live in. So, this book, The Christ Blueprint, was it's a transcription from Jesus and the apostles, including Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene and Mary, I always like to call her Marie Salome, but I don't know, it might be Marie Salome, I'm not sure. But they came to the author, the same author of Womb Wisdom in 2010 and said, my dude, we need you to write this book. We need you to write this book for us, my dude. Tell all the people. So he wrote it. It's called The Christ Blueprint. God's creation story is still going on, my dude. And then the Sophia Code was written in 2006. Well, it was published in 2016. And it's like another one of these, the creation story is still going on. And Sophia is the feminine creatrix of all. Like, if you think of God as masculine, just switch it to a feminine, and that's Sophia. And the Sophia Code is like the same thing happened with this author where she was sitting, she was like, I know that a book wants to come out of me, so I'm going to sit at my computer. And then literally it was like an earthquake around her. She writes about it in the book and talks about it in interviews. She said it was like an earthquake around her. And this is what God does. God does miracles. Like miracles, dude. You know what I mean? So it was like an earthquake around her. The walls shook. Everything turned into pure white light. She couldn't see anything around her except for pure white light. And the voice of Sophia came and said, Kaya, I am Sophia, divine feminine creatrix of all. I'm going to tell you what to write in the book, and you better write it. Because what's happening, y'all, is that God's creation story is still going on. And these amazing books. And what's really amazing is these are two different authors. The Christ Blueprint and the Sophia Code. This was published in 2010, and this was published in 2016. And it's like so much of like the like cross information, like so much of the information in these two sacred spiritual texts support each other. And so I've been reading them side by side, and I've also been reading Womb Wisdom a lot. I pretty much am finished with it, but I read the Womb Wisdom side by side with Sophia Code a lot, and then I really wanted to get something by the same author, and I found the Christ Blueprint, and it's literally, oh my God, this book is a map. You start reading from the very beginning, and it's this like sacred map that like weaves you in, and the whole point is like, everything that Christ stood for is like, has been reincarnated throughout various teachers throughout time. So it's not necessarily like Jesus, but like it is Jesus, but it's like the Christ idea. This book is here for us to help us continue transforming the world for the best. And so I've been reading these books, The Christ Blueprint and the Sophia Code and Womb Wisdom, and these are by the same author, and this is by an amazing woman named Kaya Ray. And I was just sitting in my kitchen feeling really giddy, and I was like, I just want to hop on Facebook Live. I didn't know I was going to start talking about all this, but I was thinking about how I was been reflecting on how in 2012 or so, like a decade ago, I started Catholic high school, and then I left Catholic high school, and then like 4 years ago, I met this amazing group of people, and like my life totally changed. And I was just thinking about this yesterday because I reconnected with one of the amazing elders, and I'm planning to have a chat with her in a few days. But I reconnected with one of the amazing elders that I met around that time, like 4 years ago, and I was really just sitting and I was like, oh my God, that was only 4 years ago. Because I will tell you, my life, the whirlwind, the experience, we'll just call it, what should we call it? We should call it cataclysmic transformation. Over the last 4 years, has just been like undeniable. And honestly, at this point in my life, like I just feel so blessed. And I like broadcast in both of these books, both of these sacred texts, that's one of the crossovers, is they say that Christ and God, Christ wants us to be broadcasting into the grid of like all the web of life. Like if you haven't heard of the web of life, look into that, because we're part of it and you want to be part of that. Like, you're alive. Don't you want to really like dive into your aliveness? I mean, I do. And like, I love death. Like, heck yeah. But like, we're also alive. And like, so like broadcasting out these amazing frequencies. Like, I can sit here and I can, with my mind, because I've trained myself, and you can train yourself too, and it's not really that hard. Like, all you have to do is you have to know you're connected to the web of life. And actually, I took some teachings from this womb wisdom and I put them right here on this, and I kind of thought of it as like an Ark of the Covenant in a way, but it's not really. But it says, from womb wisdom, it says, we stay connected to the web of life through acts of offering and giving, service and gratitude. Offering to the web of life makes sacred who you are. Offering to the web of life makes sacred who you are. So the web of life is like this thing all around us that we're all connected to. And we're in it. We're in the web of life, and we're here. And it says here, remember, demons are your reflection. They are that aspect of you that stands in the way. As you allow yourself to disappear, so do they. And that's really just about kind of allowing your ego to dissolve so that suffering can dissolve. And that's a really cool lesson if you want to be like all into like non-suffering and stuff. But yeah, and I'm not going to say that I don't suffer, but heavens, yes, I'm trying my best to not to. So, yes, this crossover teaching between the Christ Blueprint and the Sophia Code is that we can sit here and broadcast out into the web of life feelings, ideas, inspiration. So I can sit here and, for example, I can sit here and I can say, hey, humanity, hey, sentient beings, stop distracting yourself. Get up. Stop distracting yourself from your life and who you really are. Start loving your life. Start really living your life. I can sit here and I can broadcast that out to the web of life. And let me tell you, I feel it. I feel the web of life. Sit up. I feel the web of life. Stir around a little bit and be like, ooh, let me get my face off my phone and let me look in the face of my love, or let me look in the face of this book I've been meaning to read, or let me look in the trees for once in a blue moon. You know what I mean? So that's a really, really amazing crossover lesson from these two books, the Sophia Code and the Christ Blueprint. Is this one was published in 2010, this one was published in 2016, and they both have this crossover teaching where they can say, where they're teaching that, like, if you really want to like make a change for the better in the world, like, live a healthy lifestyle and sit up and know that you're connected to the web of life and broadcast out these good feelings to it. And let's say, hey, let's eat some greens. Let's go for a jog. Like, let's just continue uplifting, because there's this whole concept that the Sophia Code is really, really big on speaking about, and that is ascension. And that is that our planet as a whole is ascending, and we kind of choose what timeline we live in. So, like, this planet is like a playground for all sorts of types of experience. And if we want to, we can consciously choose through raising our vibration, decalcifying our pineal gland, which is our activator for being able to understand and experience our dreams and then the beauty in life that we really want, that we really like would like to have. Decalcifying our pineal gland, raising our vibration. when we do that, we step into another dimension. And it's still on this planet, but it's like another dimension of reality. And so I'm here. I'm sitting here. I sit here and I'm like, oh dear God, I am broadcasting out now to the most impoverished people, to those suffering most, or to those that might not otherwise have access to this inspiration. I am broadcasting out to them that they are heavenly creatures and that they are allowed to have divine abundance and prosperity in every aspect of their life. Like, I am broadcasting that out. I sit here and I broadcast that out to, like, sentient beings everywhere on this planet. And, like, I really am working for the best possible reality for all beings. I really, really am. So, man, it makes me want to cry. Like, I just love everything so much. And, like, the Christ consciousness, like the Christ blueprint, it talks about how when you start getting into these like deeper dimensions of consciousness, how like you start to not necessarily take on so much of like the egoic, like, I work at Chipotle, which truth and reality, Katie Mae Granaccia, she does work at Chipotle. Like, I do work at Chipotle. But when you start getting more into like the Christ like consciousness, it's not so much of like, I work at Chipotle, I make burritos every day for people. It's like, I am a divine initiate of the divine, and I am doing God's sacred work every day. And every person that I greet, I am looking at God, and that is how I will respond and be to them. And so, and it's like, it's less about like the like denser frequencies and the denser when you start getting like more into like the Christ consciousness, it's less about the dense ego and more about the more light, as in like weight. It's like a more lightweight consciousness where it's like, I am God acting as a co-creator with existence. And the Sophia Code talks a lot about that kind of thing too, and I really recommend these two books, the Sophia Code and the Christ Blueprint. Both of these were published within the last decade, and it's they're divine reminders of how God's creation story is still continuing. Now, I got on this live stream because I wanted to just talk a little bit and reflect a little bit about how like 10 years ago I like started my Catholic high school after being in Catholic school my whole life, and then I left Catholic school, and then I was like, I don't think Catholicism is true anymore. But I had a mental breakdown because I was like, I don't know what to believe if I'm not Catholic. And then I went on this crazy search, and then I was like, oh, self-awareness is God, because quantum mechanics taught me that everything is connected. Like, literally, there's a fabric of reality underneath what we call atoms, and in that fabric part of reality, there's no separation between you and me and everything, and the birds and the bees and the air that we breathe. Yeah. So I am choosing to flow with the divine purple flame emanating from our divine union with Christ. And I'm going to sign off. I really was feeling so giddy, and I hope you gave this a whole view, because I love you and I hope to inspire you. And I bless you with divine rays of the violet flame. Have a blessed and truthful evening filled with love and beauty.